Thanks for joining us today. My name is Ajay Sharma. I'm standing here in GBL lab. We are configuring and building gas analyzers for our customers for Middle East and India. We are almost making hundreds of analyzers every year. So today I'm standing in front of Toga analyzer, which is configured, built and tested by GBA analyzer testing team. So as you can see here, this analyzer consists of latest 8890 GC, which is a smart and intelligent GC which comes with the touch screen. You can see how easy it is to operate this gas analyzer, which comes in a lot of built-in intelligent features like diagnostics and maintenance and the logs available for you, where you probably do not need a service engineers to come and help you with small little routine daily troubleshooting. So this is an intelligent GC which will help you to run your more samples every day. So I will come back and give you more details about this. And then there is sitting next to it is our headspace analyzer. This analyzer is built with the state-of-the-art technology, and this one particular model can run 111 samples, but then there are various options available. We have recently introduced a new headspace sampler where you can have 48 vials with a lot of intelligence built into, which is like you don't need to really work on the headspace, but you have to work in the it's integrated with the software, so everything is controlled and described as part of the software. You can also see there is a OpenLab CDS software here which is connected to this Toga analyzer, and you can see the method here where I can show you all the GC parameters, probably you can see, and then I can also show you all the headspace parameters. So we will go into the details in a short while. Let me take you to the hardware and the configuration of Toga, which is the valve diagram. And this is very important to understand what are the key elements goes inside to build this wonderful sample analysis for this Toga analyzer. So as you can see here in this diagram, I will explain you. There is this diagram on the right side is explaining the detectors here. You can see here there is a backside flame ionization detector and the front one is thermal conductivity detector, and these detectors are connected to two plot columns. So the column 1 and the column 2. Column 1 is a plot Q column. Both columns are plot column. Plot columns, as you know, it's a porous layer open tubular. So both columns are connected where the plot Q will probably separate all the lighter hydrocarbons, and the permanent gases are separated by the mole sieve column. And then you can see there is a special device built in here which is called CAT here, which is a nickel catalyst. So this is also known as a methanizer, to convert your low amounts of CO and CO2 gases to methane, so that we can detect it on a FID detector at a very low concentration, which could be in the ppm range. So this whole analyzer is connected here with the headspace analyzer. So the carrier gas, which is coming argon, we are using argon as a carrier gas, which is coming from the EPC module or PCM module, which is a pressure control, pneumatic control module, which is connected to the headspace and which is connected to the inlet of the GC. Now inlet of the GC is a customized inlet where a fused silica directly connects the gas chromatograph to the headspace. So you see here the sample vial which is coming from the headspace goes directly into the column here. So there is not any metallic or steel parts which come into contact with your sample. So there is a fused silica here which I will show you in the next few frames. So this fused silica directly takes your sample from the headspace vial to the column. And you can see here at the top of the GC there is a valves and there is a detector. So this is an FID detector on the back side, and there is a front TCD detector. You can see here at the center there is a pneumatic gas valve here. This is a 6-port valve underneath and is actuated by the Agilent actuator. So this is a pneumatic actuator, and it also has a built-in needle valve which will take the flow once we bypass the molecular sieve column. So all this hardware is very easily accessible on the top of the GC, and the backside of this fused silica is lying your methanizer here. So methanizer is sitting at the backside of the inlet. So as you can see here, there is a methanizer which converts your CO and CO2 gases to methane. So I will open the oven now for you, so you can have a look inside how the columns, plot columns look like and how they are connected. So these are the two columns here. You can see one is the molecular sieve and another is the plot queue. The plot queue is coming along with the particle trap, which is built-in integrated trap to avoid any damage to the valves or giving any spikes to your detectors. And this is connected by a zero dead volume and also connected to a second column which is a molecular sieve at the back side. So all this is in a very inert environment. So most of your sample is not going to come in contact with any of the metallic part, and even if there is any metallic tubings we are using, they are ultra fine quality so that you do not lose your analytes while it travels from inlet to the detector. So this is a little bit about the GC, and I can explain you a little bit on the headspace here, where you can you have your vials which are filled with your samples. So these vials are airtight and it's sealed to air, so that you can crimp them and they are no leaks or anything like this. They are filled, and then these vials are taken inside the oven here. There are 12 vial oven where you can do multiplexing, you can do overlapping here while your one run is going on, which is around 15 minutes. Probably you can prepare the second run. So second sample, all these vials go inside the oven where you can heat them and you can shake them and keep them in ready state for the next sample to run. So all this overlapping helps in doing a very productive job. So in a day, probably you can run more samples and your cost of running per sample also comes down. This headspace sampler also has a very unique sampling system which is thermally very precise and has got a pneumatics with a 6th generation pneumatic control module. So I'll put this sampling system into a parking mode so I can show you how to open the, and I will show you inside the sampling loop and the valve. There is one screw which probably you need to just open it and you are done. And all you need is a Torx T20 screwdriver, and once you are open with this nut, of course wear thermal gloves in case the system is at a high temperature. So you can remove the top cover and you can see there is a valve casing which is a thermal hood placed on top of the analyzer. I will just remove it. And you can see here, this is the state-of-the-art thermal enclosure which houses the valve here and the loop here. So it's thermally very stable and easily you can increase or decrease the temperature. I'll just open it up for you so you can see the inside parts. So once you remove all the 3 screws, you will be able to remove the valve cover. So once it is removed, it's actually warm. Yeah. So you can see here, this is the 6-port valve and this is the inert sample loop, which is, you can change the volume 1 ml, 2 ml, 5 ml, and then here is the sampler which travels through the fused silica interface, and this tube as well is a heated tube. So you can increase it to 100 degrees, 150 degrees depending on your sample type. So this is a very state-of-the-art unique sampling system. Plus inside, if you see there, this is a EPC, electronic pneumatic control, where you can control your flow and pressure up to third decimal places. So this is a 6th generation EPC module. And with this, I will also explain you a little bit detail into the OpenLab software, which is of course the key to running the whole gas chromatograph. So from a user perspective, from your perspective, I think this is the most important place you will be working. So I will explain you OpenLab software, how it acquires the data, how it processes the data, and just you can create your sequences and keep it running overnight, and in the morning you will have all your samples ready. So thank you very much for joining on this hardware class today. I will take you to the software session now. Thank you very much. You can see the current status of the headspace sampler. It's ready, and if you want to see the detailed status, you can open up another window where it describes what has already happened and what is going to continue. So you can see here vial has moved. Now it is equilibrating in the oven, which is also done. Now it is pressurizing the vial. So as you can see, it has pressurized the sample. Now it is extracting the sample, or the sample loop is getting filled up with the vial headspace gas. Extracting the sample and then starting the run. So run is started. Now it's saying injecting. Injecting means the valve is switching to the on position, where the sample will be carried over to the column. So we'll close this window while my run is started. So you can see here the red mark here, which is beginning of my run. So I can readjust my timings to, let's say, 10 to 14 minutes here, so that I can see the whole chromatogram in one screen. So you can see here the software is acquiring the data from TCD as well as from FID. I should readjust my TCD signal. I think it's a little bit at the bottom. Here you are. So we can see all the peaks are started coming from FID. So by 4 minutes is the hydrogen which is coming out from the TCD, and then we'll have oxygen and nitrogen coming back. This is coming from the mol-C plot column. So the very first peak on the TCD detector is, as I said, the hydrogen, and then we have oxygen and then nitrogen, and then on the FID side we have the first peak, which is at 2 minutes. It's carbon dioxide, then we have the ethylene, and then next to it is acetylene, and then ethane. So this is the peak probably at this moment of 6 minutes is around methane. And then we'll wait. After this is the carbon monoxide, which will come through the methanizer to the FID, which is if it is a low ppm, we'll be able to have a very nice and a sharp ppm peak. So while run is going on, it is possible that you can just see how much time is elapsed and how much time is remaining. This is the run time, which is 6-7 minutes have elapsed already. We are still left with around 5-6 minutes. Our sample is around 10 minutes acquired, another 3 minutes are still left. So after this acquisition, we will run through the processing, and then we'll calibrate it, take a report, and also go through a report which is a custom report. You don't have to transport these results to an Excel sheet manually and then find out a dissolved gas analysis report. That can be done built into the software itself. So our acquisition run is about to finish in a minute. So run is almost finished. So you can see here the system has gone into not ready status yellow color. So this is now getting ready for the next sample run. So all the flows and temperature will come back to the next readiness status. So our acquisition is completed, and then we can go to the data processing. And then data processing is also, as I said, the data is very securely kept in on the server. So in order to access your data, either you can go and pick it up from the projects in the control panel, which is projects here in the control panel, and you can check for your, so you can pick up your projects here and then start data analysis. So this will bring all the acquired methods and data, and then we can create some processing parameters and apply calibration table. So the data analysis, so this is the data analysis software. So there are 3 tabs. Again, you can see all the windows are appearing as per Microsoft Outlook. It's very easy to navigate through. So select your data, what you have done today. It's loading all the samples which have been acquired so far and creating a preview. So here is my demo test sample which I acquired today, the first one on the top, and I just double click and load it into the screen here. So the moment I open the chromatogram, it is asking me what kind of a processing method you would like to use, because we did not select it during the initial. So we will pick up the LCGC quantitative and link and process. Yeah, now you can see this has opened up, but there is no identification of any of the peaks, and there is no table, calibration table exists because there is a processing method. So since we have already tested this analyzer, we will open up the processing method. So now you can see all the peaks are identified. Carbon dioxide, ethylene, acetylene, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, all the peaks are done, and we have a calibration table available which is calibrated with a linear calibration of level 1. All the values are in ppm here listed, and they are part of the calibration table. So from here we can see the reporting, how the results look like in a report. So we'll go to the reporting section here, which is number 3 here. Yeah. So during the reporting we have an option of creating the way we want to see the report. So reports are very flexible. You can create on your own, you can modify a report, you can introduce any custom calculations and get rid of any Excel sheet. So I will use a Toga RDL, which is a Toga template we have created and designed for DGA analysis. So this is our Toga calculation report out of the system direct. So you can see here all the values and statistics we can create, and it's part of the software. And we have even created a out of specification pass-fail QC report, so you can see the values of the various analytes. So if your acetylene value is increasing more than 7 ppm, possibly it will indicate it's failing in a red color. So if it is within the specification, it's a green box saying pass. So you can get a pass-fail report very quickly. If you have many samples to review, hundreds of samples to review, you can do it in a very short time quickly. And also we have a built-in calculation for the combustible gases. So you can find even total combustible gas value, which is here 752. And also if you go down, we have other levels listed, which is again, if it is out of specification, it is in it is in a red status. If it is within the specification, it is with a green status. So all these values also can be adjusted depending on the lab. So different regions and labs may have a different specification limits. So all you need to do is go get onto the template and double click the values which probably you want to change or modify, and the way it appears you can very well customize it. It's pretty simple, and you can pick up the grouping, you can filter it, sort it, all the possible. So all you do need to do is pick up the table where you want to modify certain values. So I'm here in the pass-fail table where you can just double click and select the status or how you want to define the final reporting results. So here is the formula which we have fed in. For example, if you can see here, acetylene, we have said it is failing if it is more than 7. So probably if in your lab it is 5, you can just change it to 5. It's pretty simple to customize this report, save it, run it for your sample, and you are ready to go. So this whole Open Lab software helps you to give the final reporting very quickly and without any erroneous transporting the results to another Excel sheet. Also, I would like, also this software has a built-in identify the artifacts very quickly when you have hundreds of samples. So for example, it's very easy for any human eye to understand the anomalies when the data is arranged in a very organized in a specific manner. So here human eye is very easy to identify where, so you can identify there is one ball here which is out of specs, and that is very easy to identify, and I'm sure all of you can see this is the ball. And how you can use this in the Open Lab software, there is a feature called Peak Explorer. It's a very innovative where you can review hundreds of samples very quickly and say sample number so and so is out of the specification, and you can see the bubbles. If they are not in a straight line, the retention time is shifting, or if the bubble size is changing, their amounts are changing. So this is a very useful Peak Explorer feature which is built inside as part of the software. Also, there is a very good feature which is a built-in smart manual integration. So nowadays, all smart tools are available to make an integration very easy. I will show you in the next slide. This one-click integration is very useful for all of our customers here. So you can see here there is a tool available which identifies the type of peaks and what kind of an integration event you should be using, whether you need to split the peak here, or you need to have a new baseline, corrected baseline, move the baseline. All these smart tools are part of the software. So there is a built-in information which also is available on the internet. It's part of the software. Just go through the browser. You have lots of tutorials, you have lots of explanations, and even we have a tool called e-familiarization, which is almost a 6 GB worth of training material available to learn this software and run your samples very quickly and easily. And then this becomes a very productive instrument in your lab. With this, I will end the software session, and if you have any more questions, don't forget to contact us at gulfbioanalytical.com, and we will share all the other toll-free numbers also. And thank you for joining us today, and hope we will like to hear your feedback, and then we can create some better contents and materials for you to share with. Thank you very much.